Baltimore police were inside a store on Riverdale Road when they noticed a man they believed was armed. As officers moved to make contact, Dwight Hawkins, 37, began to flee.
Get your hand out, get your hand! Let me see it! Let me see it! Let me see it! Let me see it!
In close proximity to one of the officers, he produced a handgun, prompting two officers to fire their service weapons. Hawkins was transported to a hospital and later pronounced deceased.
Get your hand out, get your hand! Let me see it! Hands! 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 Guard! 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 Let me see it! Let me see it!
A firearm was recovered at the scene. No officers were injured. The introduction of a gun into an already intense encounter can alter the outcome in seconds, leaving consequences that cannot be reversed.
Back up! Back up! Back up! Let me see your eye! Let me see your eye!
Jacksonville Sheriff's Office responded to an armed domestic disturbance on Dunn Avenue involving 62-year-old Jose Cabrera. He allegedly threatened his wife with a knife before leaving the scene. Officers later located Cabrera in his vehicle on Foxtail Lane after he told police they would have to kill him before he returned to prison.
Hey, don't grab that. Hey, he's got a knife. He's got a knife. Let's go. Let's go.
Drop it. Shoot me. Drop that knife. Drop it.
Shoot me.
As officers approached, Nick Cabrera grabbed a knife and moved toward them, ignoring repeated commands to drop the weapon. 3 officers opened fire. Cabrera was taken to the hospital and later succumbed to his injuries. Escalation can happen in seconds, and once it gets out of control, the consequences can be permanent.
Hey, don't grab that. Hey, hey, he got a knife. He got a knife. Drop that knife.
A Fresno police officer contacted 41-year-old Bradley Nicholson in an alley. Nicholson, who was on post-release supervision, gave a false name and resisted detention.
Hamburger, Clinton, and West. Go ahead, put your hands behind the back. Jason.
No.
Jason, we're not.
Please stop.
Jason,
Look.
I will tase you.
No.
Jason,
I don't.
I'm not asking.
I'm not on
anymore.
parole or nothing.
Jason, we're
I'm not on
doing
parole.
this.
I'm not on parole. Stop.
Jason.
Stop.
Stop.
Stop, man.
Jason.
Stop.
I'm gonna dump you, bro.
Stop.
Jason. Hey, what are you doing?
Stop, man.
Jason.
Stop. Let go, man. Let go.
Jason.
Let go of me.
Jason.
Let go of me.
Jason.
Let go.
I'm gonna drop you right now.
Let go. No, you're not. Let go. Oh.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
During the struggle, he pulled a handgun and fired at close range, the bullet striking the officer's hat, but narrowly missing him. The officer returned fire as Nicholson ran into a nearby carport, still armed.
Back alley.
Show me your hand.
Jason! Go ahead, Jason Nicholson. Jason, put the gun down now!
Put it down.
Other units quickly arrived to provide support, repeatedly urging him to surrender while the situation remained tense. After more than an hour of tension, Nicholson finally dropped the gun and surrendered. The volatile encounter came to an end, one that unfolded in seconds and could have taken a far darker turn. A speeding violation quickly escalated into a dangerous pursuit in Fort Smith. A trooper clocked a black Nissan Altima at 58 in a 45 zone. When the lights were activated, the driver fled, running stop signs and blowing through a red light. Authorities carried out multiple tactical interventions. The vehicle reached speeds near 109 miles per hour, tearing through neighborhoods and city streets.
We're on stroke, coming up the stroker lane. I'm not. We're Lockett Lane. Going back towards Rogers, toward Fort Smith. TBI. He drove out the TI, still southbound, coming up to...
The driver struck a patrol unit, turned off his headlights, and continued fleeing until he trapped himself on a dead-end road. Officers removed him from the vehicle and placed him under arrest. He was identified as Alexander Raya.
Get out of the car now! Get out of the car now! Get out of the car now! Get out of the car now, you dumb mother! Get out of the car! Call out now! Call out! Get out of the car now! You want to get fucking tased? Turn on the car! The dude, the car!
Officers observed signs of impairment, and a partially consumed bottle of tequila was found inside. Raya faces multiple charges, including felony fleeing the scene, drunk driving, and dangerous driving.
From Pleasant Prairie Police.
Wisconsin police say a vehicle, wanted for fleeing in Winthrop Harbor, led officers on a high-speed chase all the way into Pleasant Prairie.
On the top of his cruise. We're coming up to Shared Road. Speeds are about 50.
Dashcam video shows 38-year-old Joshua McCarthy weaving through traffic, crossing into oncoming lanes, and putting other drivers at risk. Officers executed a pit maneuver, sending the vehicle into multiple rolls.
Get your hands up!
0 over, 044, 96. Copy,
Put your hands up!
5 occupants were transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. McCarthy is currently facing 14 felony charges, and including fleeing from police causing injury and reckless endangerment. The charges also include causing injury while driving under the influence of alcohol and possession of drugs. Pressing the gas didn't solve the problem, it turned it into a crash scene and a long list of felony charges. Officers received reports of a pickup truck driving at high speed and recklessly, forcing other motorists to swerve to avoid a collision. The vehicle was located on the highway and nearby local roads, prompting a coordinated pursuit.
Domestic, physical domestic.
Clerk will be advised. disturbance happened at 599 Lower McGuire Loop. If he's going up Crow Mountain, he's possibly heading back to location. He was extremely close.
Hands, I'm gonna put him out. He's driving too crazy.
6-4, J11. Hopkinsville County, you go over the patch if you want to. Copy that, I'll get a patch.
63, I think. Crow Mountain area.
6-4, copy. I didn't copy where he's at. Follow 363 going across the lane.
As the chase continued, the suspect sped through residential areas and open fields, nearly causing multiple crashes. Units communicated over radio to contain the situation, and a controlled tactical contact was made to prevent further danger.
Coming up on 7,000 block of Crow Mountain State, essentially sit at the moment. They got 8 branches several times.
The truck came to a stop near a fence line. I'm in residential property. The driver was ordered out and taken into custody.
Close to Crow Mountain Road in Somerville Road. 423. Yeah, let's go! Yeah!
He sustained minor injuries and was evaluated at the scene. Officers observed signs of impairment. Minor property damage was reported. Authorities said the suspect's driving placed several people at serious risk. The timely intervention likely prevented a far more severe outcome. A 911 call reported a domestic dispute at the Belleview Transit Center. Officers arrived and contacted the caller, identified as 38-year-old Mohammed Moray Bangura.
False case. Say it?
Are you the one that called about the DV that happened right now?
A TV?
DV.
And are people arguing?
Yes.
What's your name, Jude?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I didn't
Just
see
to me to
anything.
understand, you call us because you said to dispatch you saw 2 people arguing. Okay, let's get to that first, and then we go to the second part.
Yeah, so that was happening over.
Hey! Shot fire! Shot fire! Shot fire!
Bangura pulled a knife from his jacket and rushed toward the officers.
Shot fire! Shot fire!
One officer was seriously injured before another fired to stop the attack. Both were transported to the hospital and did not survive. Investigators allege the 911 call was fabricated to draw officers to the location.
Shots fired, shots fired. Don't move, stop. Don't move, get your hands out. Get your hands out.
Bangura pleaded not guilty to multiple charges and remains in custody on $5 million bail. False reports and sudden violence can create dangerous, irreversible consequences. A 16-year-old stole a U.S. Army van from a recruiting office in Sandy. When officers attempted to stop the vehicle in South Jordan, the suspect fled. Police made contact again and deployed spike strips, but the vehicle continued moving. As officers attempted to block the escape route, the van veered toward one of them. An officer fired in an attempt to stop the vehicle.
We got shots fired.
Get on the ground!
Stop! Do not move!
Stop!
Do not move! Do not move! Stop!
Put your hands up!
Hands up!
Put your hands up!
Hands up! Hands up!
Put your hands up! Put your hands on the ground!
On the ground!
On the ground!
On the ground!
The van came to a stop after colliding with a patrol unit. The teen was transported to the hospital and later did not survive. One impulsive decision can lead to irreversible consequences. Police and mental health professionals responded after a report that 53-year-old Everard Walker was in crisis. Family members were present as officers attempted to speak with him inside the apartment. Walker produced a knife and did not comply with commands to drop it. As he moved toward an officer who had fallen backward, another officer fired to stop the situation.
Go on, get it, get it.
Walker was transported to the hospital where he later died. Foothill Division gang enforcement officers observed 37-year-old Ramon Mosqueda exiting a parked vehicle on Radford Avenue. When officers attempted a pedestrian stop, he appeared to be holding what looked like a firearm. An officer-involved shooting occurred, and Mosqueda fled through the side yard of the residence. A perimeter was established, and SWAT responded, but he escaped after a thorough search.
Radford shots fired, officer needs help.
Hey, stay right there, stay right there, stay right there.
White shirt, black hat.
I got...
No officers or bystanders were injured during the incident. A black L-shaped butane lighter was recovered at the scene. Clear compliance can prevent irreversible consequences. If you agree, comment yes.
Hey, let me see your hand. Get away from the gun. Get away from the gun.
Indian River County deputies stopped a vehicle suspected to be linked to recent shootings and multiple firearm thefts. During the stop, Jamal Frederick exited from the back seat after officers discovered a gun inside the vehicle.
Put your hands up now. Front passenger, put your hands up. Don't move. Just keep your hands up. I see it. Yep.
Yeah. Put your hands up. Keep them up.
Put them out of the window.
Unlock the doors.
Despite being told not to touch the firearm, he grabbed it, creating an immediate threat.
You hear me? I'm gonna open this door. You keep your hands up. Step out. Keep your hands. Hands. Do not.
He refused commands to raise his hands, stood up, and fled into a nearby residential neighborhood. He was subdued and given first aid before being transported to the hospital. Two firearms were recovered, both reported stolen. A call about a man armed with a knife brought West Sacramento officers to a Walmart parking lot. There, they encountered 24-year-old Adam John Lunt near his vehicle.
Stay in the car! Stay in the car!
Lunt stepped out and moved toward an officer while holding what appeared to be a gun and a knife. Officers discharged their firearms, and Lunt was struck. The weapon was later identified as a pellet gun, and the knife had been purchased shortly before the incident. Fire personnel attempted emergency medical aid at the scene. Lunt was later pronounced deceased. No officers or bystanders were injured. Do you think approaching in this situation was too risky? If you think so, comment yes. NOPD responded to reports of an intoxicated man pointing a firearm at people near Bourbon and St. Louis streets. The suspect was identified as 25-year-old Austin Bentel. Seconds after the first officer arrived, Bentel approached, drew a handgun, and pointed it at the officer before she could exit her unit. 4 officers fired 15 rounds, striking him multiple times. A 9mm semi-automatic handgun was recovered, later found to have no magazine or ammunition.
Hold on, back up, I got it. Back up, watch your gun.
Investigators believe Bentel attempted to pull the trigger during the confrontation. Bentel was transported to a hospital and remains in custody as the investigation continues.
A street takeover erupted in the University Plaza area of Tampa. As law enforcement moved in, 3 vehicles broke away from the crowd and fled the smoke-filled parking lot. When police arrived, the suspects fled in chaos.
Right now.
The black Dodge Charger accelerated onto the main roadway. At the same time, another vehicle weaved through multiple parking lots, cutting between shopping center entrances in an attempt to evade capture. Units coordinated ahead and blocked the vehicle in front of a shopping center, taking the driver into custody as soon as it came to a stop. Meanwhile, the situation was far from over as the pursuit stretched across multiple intersections. A front tire separated, sparks flew across the pavement, yet the driver continued pressing the throttle in an attempt to escape. Troopers stayed with it and ultimately forced the vehicle to stop. Three occupants were detained. A search revealed marijuana and a loaded 9mm handgun. The driver now faces charges including fleeing, street racing, and weapons-related offenses. Street performances can turn into criminal cases within minutes when speed and firearms put an entire community at risk. On May 11, 2025, multiple agencies moved in on a suspected street takeover in Orange County. Live video showed vehicles spinning donuts and crowds gathering at an intersection. As units blocked escape routes, several cars fled recklessly, ignoring police presence and forcing their way through traffic controls.
Taking a U-turn now, come back westbound. I believe it's purple.
One silver Infiniti pushed forward despite the roadblock, striking a marked patrol car. The vehicle was stopped in a felony arrest. The driver was taken into custody, and firearms were recovered from inside. Street takeovers turn roads into hazards, and forcing through police lines only accelerates serious consequences.
The least that you were getting.
Troopers received intel about an organized stunt driving group blocking intersections on North Avenue. A silver Lexus IS 300 was seen spinning donuts and nearly striking other vehicles. When officers moved in, the driver reversed and fled, racing through busy streets and a college campus. He made erratic lane changes and ignored public safety.
Go right, northbound, north side drive. Holding right, northbound, north side drive, go ahead.
Troopers used two controlled pit maneuvers to stop the Lexus near North Side Drive.
I got a dog, I got a dog.
After the vehicle was pinned, officers secured the occupants and took the driver into custody. Street stunts erase margins. Reckless choices trap everyone inside. And control ends risks that never should have started. Law enforcement responded to a coordinated street takeover in a residential neighborhood in Hillsboro County. Vehicles were spinning burnouts and drifting through the intersection as crowds scattered at the sight of police. A blue sedan with heavily tinted windows was observed blocking traffic and driving recklessly. When officers attempted a stop, the masked driver reversed, ignored commands, and fled through the neighborhood. Due to the danger posed to residents, a pursuit was immediately initiated.
Put it in
park, you're gonna get wrecked. Do you understand? You're gonna get wrecked. Stop moving that car. Stop moving that car.
Troopers quickly positioned themselves and executed a precision immobilization technique, successfully bringing the vehicle to a stop.
Stop in the car! Get out the car! Get out the car! Get out the car! Get out the car! Stay now!
The driver was taken into custody without further incident and charged with fleeing to elude and street racing. What began as a street spectacle ended in handcuffs once control was restored. Troopers responded to reports of street racing near North Decatur and Claremont. Aviation units monitored from above as crowds gathered and lanes became blocked. A white Lexus bolted from the scene, leading troopers through sharp turns and crowded roads at high speed, repeatedly flirting with loss of control. The run ended on West Ponce de Leon Avenue when the driver failed to hold a fast curve. The vehicle collided with another car, bringing the pursuit to an abrupt stop. The driver was taken into custody and now faces multiple charges. Crowded streets leave no room for racing, and reckless speed always finds a hard limit.
Can't tell what state the temp tag's out of.
A traffic stop that appeared completely routine took place. There was no chase, no obvious warning signs. But within just a few seconds, everything turned in a way no one expected.
Well, I'm running my checks and then you'll show me the...
Omar Felix Cueva suddenly pulled out a rifle and opened fire, killing Officer Darian Jarrett at the scene. It ended in a tragedy that sent shockwaves through law enforcement.
You call 911?
Stopping at the 116. Shots fired at your unit. 4.
After the attack, Cueva fled eastbound on I-10. Multiple federal and local agencies joined the pursuit. Tire deflation devices were deployed, and gunfire echoed as the suspect continued driving while shooting back.
Pure rim. He's on pure rim on the front right tire.
The pursuit ended near the Picacho exit. A police vehicle executed a pit maneuver, forcing the suspect's truck to stop. The incident came to a close after a series of split-second decisions made under extreme pressure.
Shots fired, Central. Shots fired. I don't know what he's got there. Firearms by his head. Firearms by his head. I got it.
What began as a routine traffic stop cost an officer his life and revealed the dangers law enforcement officers face every single day. Do you think traffic stops in high-risk cases need additional layers of protection for officers? If you agree, comment yes.
Adrian, you'll be fine, buddy.
I saw this happen. Is there anything I can do?
Okay.
They have EMS on the way.
Yeah, just stand back a little bit, please.
Is there anything else I can do?
Along I-75 near mile marker 153, a white Dodge Charger drew attention for its dark window tint. When troopers activated their lights, the driver accelerated and fled. The car exited and re-entered I-75 southbound, reaching speeds over 145 miles per hour, weaving through traffic and using the shoulder. Near mile marker 148, it collided with a patrol car and lost control. The Charger slid into a water-filled ditch and stopped. 2 occupants were taken into custody and officers recovered drugs and a loaded handgun. Driver Tobias Cody was arrested on multiple felony charges. Extreme speed doesn't create an escape, it only shortens the distance to handcuffs. Georgia State Patrol responded to reports of illegal street racing near North Decatur Road and Claremont Road. Multiple vehicles were blocking the intersection, and crowds were beginning to form. A white Lexus fled at high speed, making dangerous passes and nearly causing crashes, putting the public at risk.
1080 as well, north Decatur. Just let the unit call. We can hear it. Let them call. No worries, not calling back.
The driver then lost control on a sharp curve along West Ponce de Leon Avenue and collided with another vehicle. The suspect immediately surrendered and was taken into custody while the uninvolved driver received medical attention. Both vehicles were secured and the crash was investigated by responding units. What started as reckless street activity ended in injuries and arrests, a reminder that speed and ego collapse fast when control is lost. Officer Williams was patrolling Interstate 40 in Arkansas. He spotted a silver Ford Explorer linked to a stolen vehicle alert. He attempted a traffic stop. Instead of stopping, the driver accelerated. The SUV sped off at over 160 kilometers per hour, weaving through heavy traffic, squeezing past trucks, and even using the emergency lane to escape. Near Momel, the opportunity presented itself. A decisive maneuver caused the Explorer to lose control and come to rest along the median. The suspect was taken into custody and now faces multiple serious charges. Reckless speed doesn't create an exit. It only shortens the distance to handcuffs. What began as a routine traffic stop near J.A. Cochran Bypass quickly shifted direction. On July 11, 2024, deputies identified driver Eric Bernard Jones with a suspended license.
Hey, what's going on, boss? Go ahead and step out of the car for me.
Okay. Hold on for a minute, man. Damn. Let me roll my window. Man, let me roll my window. I gotta shut it to roll the window. Man, come on, man.
85 miles an hour.
When ordered out of the vehicle, Jones fled. The pursuit ended on Ashford Road after he crashed.
Right on Ashford Street, head north south.
Deputies recovered fentanyl, methamphetamine, cash, and assorted pills from the vehicle. Jones was treated for injuries and booked into detention. Running didn't open an exit. It only stacked more charges ahead. Deputies attempted to stop a brown Chrysler 200 for equipment violations. The driver, identified as Jesus Keith Dixon, refused to comply and fled the scene.
We'll be on Riverdale Road. It'll be a Chrysler. Knock that shit off the road.
Yeah, road and where? That's not good.
We'll be coming back. We'll be going back towards highway. What is it? Light traffic. Speeds will be at.
You going east or west?
Going towards Copy Road. Hold on. I'm feeling going back towards Riverdale Road. Get up to it, right here. No, keep going closer. Right here. Pit it.
The pursuit moved through Riverdale Road, I-285, and nearby streets. The suspect weaved through traffic, crossed medians, and narrowly missed a pedestrian in a marked crosswalk.
turning left on the flat road, so we'll be going.
Okay, this is your best out. This is your best chance. Get up on him. Nope, cut across, go across.
Making a U-turn. We're about to pit. Stand by. We're about to pit right now.
Pit. The chase ended after deputies pinned the vehicle against a concrete barrier, leading to Keith Dixon's arrest.
Hit it! Get out, call the car. Crawl out. Hold on.
Outstanding warrants, multiple license suspensions, drugs, alcohol, and paraphernalia were recovered from the vehicle. What began as a simple stop quickly spiraled into stacked consequences, proving that running only adds weight to every decision behind the wheel. A wanted repeat offender was captured after a dangerous high-speed pursuit near Highway 441 and Highway 326. The suspect was identified as Arnaldo Benitez, wanted for armed robbery, aggravated assault, and serious bodily injury.
Let's slow it down a little bit. Going through the median over to, so they should be coming up at 200 on. Crossing median over to.
Deputies attempted a traffic stop, but Benitez fled at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour.
Getting back on the interstate now. Try to get him in that corner. Right there. Prairie.
A search of the car uncovered 2 firearms, one reported stolen, along with methamphetamine, all within reach of the driver. Benitez, legally prohibited from possessing weapons, was taken into custody without further incident. Prior records don't disappear on the road. Backgrounds surface fast once law enforcement steps in. Multiple agencies coordinated efforts to target a string of vehicle thefts linked to Orlando and Tampa. The suspects fled from a checkpoint in Hillsboro County, triggering an urgent pursuit.
Inside lane, you just switched to outside lane behind the orange Renzi truck.
While attempting to escape, the vehicle accelerated, ran red lights, and crossed into oncoming lanes. Other drivers were forced to brake suddenly, putting people on the road in dangerous situations.
Back off so we can face.
I should set my lock at 304.
Lane 90 miles an hour, coming up here. Outside exit ramp, taking the exit, taking the exit.
053.
And then eastbound 50.
Eastbound 050.
The high-speed chase stretched across multiple counties, involving sheriff's offices and state patrol units. The suspects continued driving recklessly through residential areas.
Coming up in 12 now, 100. Traffic is still light.
Light traffic. That's your only 100 miles an hour. Record tires will southbound. Record tires will southbound.
The suspects were ultimately arrested in Pasco County. Items recovered included multiple wallets, 15 Florida driver's licenses, 1 passport, and approximately 70 credit cards and gift cards. Interagency coordination quickly tightened the perimeter. Fleeing across jurisdictions did not lead to escape, but only increased the risk to innocent people. Officers tracked a U-Haul linked to multiple dangerous flights across state lines. The pursuit began on U.S. Highway 412 in eastern Oklahoma as the driver refused to stop and sped through traffic.
Hey, we're at Barrington, East Philly now. Getting out of the car. I'm gonna try to block him in. Okay. South on the restroom. South on the restroom. One drive, you're not on the vehicle. One drive, you're not on the vehicle.
Confirming a hit at South on the restroom. 2 mils, 2 mils. Copy, 2 mils. 2 mils, 2 mils. You gotta work from it.
Near Colcord, the U-Haul struck another vehicle head-on, then continued fleeing toward Arkansas at speeds over 120 miles per hour. Multiple agencies joined as the van crossed into Tontitown and Springdale, showing no regard for public safety.
Eastbound 13 George. Get work. I'm with intersection 48, West Irish, taking the interstate down there? No, not yet. We're southbound interstate.
Traffic in residential areas limited tactical options. When the U-Haul entered Interstate 49 near Exit 70, a decisive intervention was used to disable the vehicle. The pursuit ended with the van stopped and boxed in. 2 suspects were taken into custody and loaded firearms, and Molotov cocktails were found inside. No civilians were seriously injured. Stopping fast-moving threats early reduces harm to everyone else. A state trooper spotted a Honda with severe front-end damage racing through the median on I-49 at 122 miles per hour. The vehicle ignored emergency lights and sirens, forcing officers to initiate a pursuit. After about 2 miles, a tactical vehicle intervention was used to stop the Honda. Officers noted extreme agitation and sweating despite freezing temperatures. The driver, Parker Duncan, refused commands and acted erratically until additional units arrived and took him into custody. A later report linked Duncan to an earlier hit and run, with no alcohol detected and suspected drug involvement. Speed hides nothing. Behavior always tells the real story. In Garland County, deputies identified a driver who had fled earlier, but heavy traffic forced the initial pursuit to be terminated. A short time later, the vehicle was located again. The driver continued to refuse to stop, and Arkansas State Police were requested to assist.
Turn it over to take.
With large crowds present for Oaklawn's opening weekend, officers used controlled tactics to safely end the pursuit. The Ford F-150 struck a tree, a gas meter, and a retaining wall. The driver fled on foot, threw an object, and was tackled and taken into custody. A loaded 9mm handgun and suspected drugs were recovered. Damage was estimated at approximately $20,000. Heavy traffic required a change in tactics. Public safety always comes before speed. At approximately 3:36 p.m., officers spotted a vehicle speeding over 80 miles per hour. When emergency lights were activated, the driver refused to stop and accelerated to more than 110.
He runs the stop sign on 4180. Oh my! Eastbound and the westbound lane.
The pursuit moved into the Hopkinsville area, where the suspect ran red lights, drove into oncoming lanes, and narrowly avoided multiple collisions.
We're about to pass MLK. He lost it in Jacksonville. He lost it, he went across. Now he's in the field. So I'm thinking he might try to hit me head on.
Units quickly coordinated at key intersections as the vehicle continued through busy roadways and residential neighborhoods. The chase ended when the suspect lost control, left the roadway, and drove into a field, disabling the vehicle.
Get out the car! Get out the car! I don't give a shit about your car! Get out! Get on the ground! I don't want you standing up! Get on the ground! Don't put your hands behind your Now you can stand up.
The suspect was taken into custody without further incident. Fleeing solves nothing. It only puts innocent people at risk and leads to more severe consequences. Georgia State Police tracked a Nissan Altima linked to an earlier homicide on Memorial Drive in DeKalb County. The vehicle was observed using the center lane to pass other traffic. To prevent escalation in heavy traffic, a low-speed pit was executed at the intersection. The vehicle spun to a stop, and units quickly boxed it in. The driver, Antonio Watson, and passenger, Byron Thomas, were taken into custody safely and turned over to investigators. Crowded streets change priorities. Early control limits greater harm. If you agree, comment yes. A high-speed pursuit followed when the driver refused to comply and accelerated past 100 miles per hour. The suspect traveled along major routes including I-40 and drove into the emergency lane, creating dangerous conditions for traffic.
Little Rock, passing the 156, 107.
After assessing traffic and location, officers executed a pit maneuver, bringing the vehicle to a stop. Units quickly boxed it in and approached using standard safety procedures. The suspect initially ignored commands, but was taken into custody. Police recovered weapons, including a knife. Medical checks found no serious injuries and the highway was reopened. At highway speeds, control depends on coordination. The right tactics help keep risk within manageable limits.